Hi, I'm Caesar Rondina, and welcome to this week's blog post. As you probably noticed, a little bit different than I traditionally post on a Thursday night at 8:30. This week, I thought I would try a video blog post. I love the technology of playing with digital video and music and so on and so forth. I just get a kick out of it. It's a lot of fun. So I thought I would try something a little different. If you like it, please feel free to leave a comment below, and I could certainly do more video blog posts. What I like about them over the written word is, in the written word, many things could be misunderstood or misconstrued, partially because you don't hear the tonal quality of the person's voice, the highs and lows, or you don't feel sometimes the passion when you're actually listening to somebody. So I thought I would try this and see how it goes. So moving along, this week's blog post is about 5 ways to make things happen. Now, we all know there's many ways to make things happen, but if you break it all down, it really falls into 5 major categories, and then there's a ton of subcategories underneath. But these are the main 5. And if you kind of follow this guideline, then it's a key to you achieving the success that you want in getting things done. Now, these things apply to your personal life, your work, your relationships, your business, to almost anything. These concepts apply. But before I list them, there's one word that affects every single one of them. And it's a very important word in our language, and that's frustration. Now, when we hear the word frustration, the first thing that comes to our mind is that it's not a good thing. We get frustrated, the outcome's never good. Well, that's not totally true. There is a healthy frustration, but then there's a very fine line between going from healthy frustration to unhealthy frustration. Now, what's the difference between the two? Healthy frustration is a type of frustration that kind of makes you move and makes you drive. For example, if I'm having a difficult time wording a specific sentence or putting a paragraph together in a book, I may get frustrated that I can't hit exactly what I'm looking for, but that healthy frustration gives me the drive to get it done and find the answer. Now, if I take that and cross that line into unhealthy frustration, then I reach a point where I just slam my fists on the desk and I get up and I walk away. Problem with unhealthy frustration is that it is self-limiting. It causes you to become self-limiting. And when that happens, the outcome is never positive. So keep in mind that frustration, or the type of frustration, could affect every one of these. So let me list the 5 that we're talking about. First thing is, know what it is you're trying to achieve. If I write a book, I know what I want the reader to interpret. I know what I want them to perceive. So I have a goal. I have a final end to what this book project is going to be about. So know what it is you're trying to achieve, whether it's a goal, finishing a project, whatever it is. Yeah, you have to identify that, because that becomes your target. That's your light at the end of the tunnel that you're actually reaching for. The second thing is you need to think positive. Now, we've all heard positive and negative thinking. Well, negative thinking is also self-limiting and never leads to a good outcome. So we always want to think positive. And when I say think positive, it's know that you're going to face challenges, but know that you have the resources, the tenacity, the knowledge, and the desire to overcome those challenges. And if you know that and believe in yourself, then you'll be a positive thinker and you'll be able to overcome those obstacles. Being overwhelmed. Being overwhelmed happens to all of us on a daily basis. You could be a mother, you could be dealing with your kids, trying to do laundry, somebody falls, skins a knee, and now you get overwhelmed with all of these things that are happening. What you have to try and do is not become overwhelmed. And we're going to discuss these briefly. I just want to give you the list. Number 4 is focus. You have to be focused on what you're doing. If you're trying to multitask with too many different things, now you're not going to be focused on any one individual thing. So that doesn't work. So you have to stay focused. And last is follow your gut. Let me present a question to you. And that question is, have you ever taken a multiple choice question test? and you choose an answer, and then you cross it out and you pick a different answer. Now, when you get the results back, you see that your first choice was right and the one you switched over to is wrong. Happens 1,000 times. That's why I don't believe in multiple choice questions. Now, with that being said, follow your gut. Your gut is usually going to let you know what's the right or the wrong thing to do or the right or the wrong path to take. Now, let's talk about these on an individual basis very quickly. Know what it is that you want to achieve. You can't start anything without knowing what the end point is going to be. Because if you don't know that end point, somewhere along the way, you are going to lose your way, you're going to get off the path, and you're not going to be successful. You're never going to reach the goal. You're never going to be able to turn that light off at the end of the tunnel and say, I got there. So identify what it is you're actually trying to do. In my best-selling book on management and employee relations, one of the things that I push a lot in that book is knowing what your goal is as a manager. Know what your employees need. Make sure that you're able to give them that. So these are your goals, and that's just an example. You know what your goals are. There's no right or wrong. It's what works for you. To think positive means, moving on to item number 2, to think positive means that you are secure enough in yourself that you know you can do it and you know you could be successful. That's very important. If you doubt the fact that you can't be successful, then you will not be successful, because now there's negative input coming in, which is self-limiting. So psychologically, whether you're consciously doing it or not, you're going to be self-limiting yourself. And what's that going to do? Make you cross that fine line and get into the bad part of frustration. You're, again, pound your hand on the desk, you're going to get up and you're going to walk away. Becoming overwhelmed. Now, we all become overwhelmed on a daily basis. I have video conferences going on at least 3 days a week. I'm constantly answering emails while I'm trying to write, talking to a publisher, working with my marketing people. So it's very easy if I throw all of that into one package to get overwhelmed. So we don't want that to happen, because then nothing's going to get accomplished. So there's a certain degree of planning that you have to do when you're trying to achieve any goal. Now, the beautiful part about that is you're setting your own deadlines. So you're placing things upon yourself. So be realistic. Know what you can do, know how many things you can do at one time, and know the time frame in which that you can do them successfully. Therefore, you will not get overwhelmed. Focus, that's really, really important. Many, many times when I'm sitting down writing, I'll go to sit down and the concepts will be there in my mind, and I'll go to start typing and put it into words, and I'm a horrible typer. So a lot of my time is spent correcting my own typing, is losing focus. So as much as I know what I want to say, the words just aren't coming. So I have 2 choices. I could force it, which I've done. And when you do that, I've found, at least for me anyway, that when I go back and reread it the following day or later on that evening, I can't stand it. Delete, 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 and start all over again from scratch. So to me, my way of maintaining my focus is if I go to sit down and write, even though the concept of what I want to write is there, if the words aren't coming, I will not let the frustration cross that thin line into being frustrated. I will just get up and say, now is not the time, and walk away and do something else. There's other projects that I need to work on as well. And when the spirit moves me, then I'll go back to it, and then I'll find that my mind is more open. I could really analyze the concepts and put them into words. So focus is very, very important. Once you lose your focus, you've kind of lost it all. Finally, following your gut. Some people say, I don't have great intuition. I really don't know, blah, 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 blah. There's 1,000 excuses. And that's exactly what they are, by the way. They are excuses. Either excuses because you're not in the mood to do something at the time and you're forcing yourself to do it. But again, follow your gut. Is this the right time? Is it not the right time? Is what I'm doing right? Is it wrong? Am I cutting corners here, or am I really going to wind up with a good project because of how I'm handling it? If you don't listen to yourself, you're doing yourself a grave injustice. So that covers those 5 individual topics. And yes, underneath each one of those is 100 subcategories. But those, believe it or not, in the big picture are not important. It's the major concepts that are important. Those are the things that will keep you on track. Which brings me to a quote that I'm kind of known for, I should say, and I use it a lot because I think it's true and it really makes sense. And it goes like this, and I will leave you with this. But in closing, you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I love getting emails from people, so if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. I do not have anybody on my staff answer my emails. Every email is answered by myself. Also, my blog posts are never deleted. They're there. It's just a matter of going through the pages. And when you log into the blog page, you also have the opportunity to sign up to receive notifications. Now, notifications is you'll get an email saying, I just posted a blog. But I want you to feel secure with our privacy policies that your email address is not sold, nor is it shared with anybody. I don't believe in it. I hate getting junk mail, so I am not going to be party to that type of publicity. So your email address is completely safe with us. So with that, let me say this before I end this blog post. Life is not about one size fits all. It's about what size fits you. And that's what you need to remember. If you remember those concepts, you'll be very successful in everything you try to do. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the blog post.